All right, guys. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? The wheel? I don't have the wheel. I think you have the wheel. Yeah, I got no wheel. Actually, let's see. Let me check both. Yeah, I have excellent service right now on YouTube. It says excellent connection, and I don't have a wheel here. Yeah, I think it's you. I think you need a new theme song. There's 2 songs in here, but they're like royalty free. Twitch is weird about that. Some people can put all kinds of things up. I just can't. I don't know what it is. It makes no sense to me. I don't know. I don't fully understand it. I'm still trying to figure out why YouTube keeps switching things around on me. It's crazy. It's like, oh, you can't get monetized on this video because of this, but that's a free song. I'm like, okay. I'm jealous of my internet service. Yeah, I mean, when it works, right? I mean, yesterday it wasn't worth anything. Although I think that was more of a Restream issue. I don't think that was my issue because, like I said, although it was slower here, I wasn't getting any type of loss, and I tested it after, and I think I was good. I'm pretty sure it was a Restream thing. Again, trying not to stream to multiple platforms all at the same time. I just go to one website, and that website shoots it everywhere. So, we'll see. All right, so let's dive in today. I actually have the bolt. I have a lacrosse tournament that starts today and ends on Saturday. So, and I want to let you guys know, I love you guys so much. I am driving out to Ocean City, Maryland. I'm playing 2 games today. I'm driving all the way back so I could do chart school tomorrow morning, so I don't miss anything. And then I'm going out for 3 games on Saturday. I actually do have a game tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., but I was like, nope, got chart school, guys. I can't leave these guys hanging because I'll have to field questions for 5 days about will we still get our pip chips even though we missed. So just want to let you know I will be here, tomorrow. So we will be on. I may be sore. I probably will be able to talk because I'm a player now. I'm not a coach for this one. So we'll see. Walking may be fun. I'll tell you guys all about my bumps and bruises. But guys, here's this thing. I'm actually helping, I guess, 2 teams. I'm helping a 35 plus team, and although I'm not 45 yet, they're allowing me to help the 45 plus team as well, based off of my position. So, yeah, it's going to be old people. I'm not going to be playing college kids, which I'm super excited about because if you guys have been following my my lacrosse season so far this year, this summer, it's a mixed league. So we have like some kids that are, when I say kids, I mean, actually that's not true. I guess one of them is 17. I'm playing with a 17-year-old that probably outweighs me by about 30 pounds and is jacked. Face off against that kid, and then this other kid who's like early 20s. He was a club player at Maryland for lacrosse and got like mono, so he had to drop out. But he was like kind of like he was a potential candidate for Maryland lacrosse. And yeah, I play against that kid. I'm like, guys, I'm like double your age, dude. Stop running so fast. So yeah, he's also jacked up my knuckle. He got pissed. I was beating him like almost on everything Monday night, and he went and got a long pole, and then he became lumberjack. And now my finger's all jacked up. But anyway, let's get back into trading. I'll fill you guys in tomorrow. I'm excited. It is raining in Maryland right now, just like a light rain. It's been so hot lately. And I was like, man, I'm going to die at 1 o'clock in the afternoon trying to play a game. But it's raining outside right now. So I'm like, I love to play in the rain compared to the heat. So it should be fun. Anyway, last 24 hours have offered, decent number of surprises. So the Aussie data was good. Again, the crude oil number, missed it by a little bit. I said 5 to 6, and it came in at 4.5. So, I expected there to be an inventory miss. I expected a little bit more than that. So it was kind of, basically a non-event for me. Aussie. The Aussie employment change was much better than expected. The unemployment rate actually wasn't as bad. They expected 7.8. So it kind of was a little kind of flip-flop back and forth. There were some small trades in there. But again, I was actually hoping that we would get, the red numbers, not the green ones here. So again, we're kind of back up in that same area, that same kind of region, that 71-ish area. So we'll go through that. Early this morning, there really wasn't anything for us to do. We have the unemployment claims number coming in, but the one thing that the scanner right now on Forex Factory is telling us is that yesterday all this was red, right? And the reason why was because, again, we had a lot of dollar strength. Well, looking at today, what do we have? We have the exact opposite, right? Dollar weakness, basically flat. Dollar weakness, a little bit of dollar strength. A little bit of dollar weakness in this one, not as much as it could be, right? Euro pound moved a little bit. Again, that's back and forth. And then finally some movement in the pound. So what we're seeing is that pound strength finally kick in from their good numbers yesterday, and we're seeing dollar weakness on the board today. So that's in the overnight. Looking at the scanner at the bottom also does the same thing. You can see, again, all that pound strength. And again, it doesn't matter where you're using it. Again, you guys know I use Forex Factory because it's easy. The other scanner that I'm using here at the bottom, this trend scanner, not only does this tell me kind of what state everything is in, but it also gives me the strength indicator. And that's why I like it, because it's not just the pairs that are up there. I can look at all the pound-based pairs. So it provides a little bit more for me, right? So, but what are we seeing? We're seeing pound strength. We're seeing Aussie strength, except versus the pound, meaning that the pound is stronger, right? We're seeing a little bit of Aussie strength. It's a little bit mixed. The CAD, we're seeing some strength in the CAD, and again, we saw that yesterday as well. You know, obviously, pound CAD is still going up, so it looks like pound is pound is the overall winner for right now, as being the strongest. And then obviously over here in the majors right now, you're seeing, it's saying dollar Swiss dollar yen in the last 4 hours is stronger, but in the last 24 hours it's minus 78. So it's something to be a bit cautious. And actually, you're seeing things starting to pop around a little bit. So for the most part right now, everything is kind of lining up for again, closing out the European session, opening up the U.S. session. Doesn't look bad. Like I said, I mean, this Euro strength, again, seeing these good European data, and now you can see they're both kind of, strong across the board. I still think the winner over here is going to be the pound. The pound is going to be the strongest. But again, dollar weakness story is what we're seeing today. All right. Now, how does that play into the unemployment claims number today? Now, unemployment claims has been interesting. It's really going to be a read on kind of where things are going. Me personally, I think the stage we're at right now is kind of more of the reopening necessarily versus the are we closing back down again? I mean, some areas obviously have closed back down, but I don't think that that's been a kind of widespread call yet, right? Now, I will say, going into September, I think this number will matter because it will give us kind of an insight into, what are the kind of closures that are happening now? Not all school districts are home. I believe some are, but not all school districts are home. Now, last night, we just got our virtual schedule for the kids. And I'm going to say this right now. Anybody that's on right now if anybody is on right now that had anything to do with putting this virtual education schedule together for the kids, doesn't have kids. They have absolutely lost their mind. They're expecting my kids to sit there for 3.5, almost 4 hours straight, going through subject on their tablets with an hour lunch break and then an additional 3 or 4 hours. It's insane. I'm like, there's no way that kids are going to be able to look at electronics for almost 4 hours straight as you're teaching them. I'm like, it's just not going to happen. Like, colleges don't do that with adults. You think 10-year-olds are going to be able to do that? So yeah, I imagine that the unemployment numbers, when we hit, whether we close down or not, I'm assuming that these things will go up. All right, I'm assuming we're going to see more. So today's maybe just a non-existent kind of mover. We'll see, unless it's a big surprise. I don't think it'll be too much. The potential's there. It's 8:30 though. It's going to be before the market opens. It may give, if it is a negative number, obviously that will give the media the fuel that they need for the day to kind of spin that negativity out there. But again, with no other news today, I would say that it's probably setting us up more for, hopefully some type of reversal. I won't be doing it today. So again, you guys will be on your own, but I'll be in the car at that time. But, maybe a 10 o'clock reversal, 10:30 for something small in the morning, maybe some type of a morning trap. And what it could look like, again, we've had dollar weakness over the last 24 hours. It could provide us a little bit of dollar strength in there, My 7-year-old has a 1 hour break on her virtual schedule, supposed to be for 3 weeks. They're back in the classroom. Yeah, no. Well, I mean, and Will, again, I know that it's affected people in the community, and I think it's one of those things that, everybody, when this whole thing started, all it was poking fun of, we should have done this. We should listen to the science. Well, now you have the CDC and the APA saying kids should go back for mental health reasons. And the question is, are those two? I mean, again, the APA, obviously, that's the medical community for pediatrics. They are weighing the health concerns to other. Obviously, it's a psychological thing, actually. Should more kids be going back? But like I said, my kids are 10 years old. They're supposed to sit there they're supposed to be on their tablets watching this virtual schooling thing for 7 hours a day. 7 hours. And they said, we're going to have music in between transitions. I'm like, my kids are going to be crawling out of their skin. Like, adults can't focus for that long. I mean, after about 45 minutes, your brain doesn't focus anymore. Colleges know that, right? And that's why they plan their courses accordingly, right? But like if a kid, if in college you can do 18 credits and have your schedule planned out like that, I don't know why they're putting little kids on, tablets for 6 hours a day, expecting them to learn something, right? Yeah. She said the lockdown is creating more problems. Yeah. Yeah, actually, we've had actually somebody local to me. It's not my immediate family. I'm actually, I will say, I am actually seeing the effects of it with my one son, the younger one. He's much more of the social kid. He needs that social interaction. I've seen more problems with him. But one of our friends actually had, they lost somebody to suicide recently as well because of COVID. Not because of getting the illness, but because of just everything associated. And that's what they're saying, the long-term effects. They said college students rates are going higher as well. So yeah, that's another thing that we haven't kind of factored into this, but it's pretty much across the board. People are worrying about that. The seclusion, staying at home, staying away from people. I mean, humans are social beings. So I don't know. I just feel like we can't win either way with this one. Like I said, I think I think they should mandate masks for all and send us all out there. Is my opinion. Again, I'm not a medical physician. So looking at the hottest news for today, obviously the labor force data from Australia. This one, the uptrend, just sideways, right? The dollar, we've seen this one. I thought this was interesting too. Russia ditches the U.S. dollar for bulk of its exports, basically because it's receiving more, exports to China. I'm sorry, euros. Again, China doesn't want to use dollar because they don't like us. So again, obviously they can use other currencies. And this is just kind of, I think this is lip service more than anything else. Yeah, we're going to ditch the U.S. dollar because, Cold War again. It's like, whatever. I mean, sure, go ahead. The reality is we don't really need much from Russia. So if they want to ditch it, just go use another currency. I mean, it's totally fine. It's not going to really affect too much with us. And then here you go. Here's that talk about, the U.S. rally hit, buffers and yields slipping back again. This is just the natural flow of the market, guys. Something is strong, then it goes weak, and then it goes strong, and then it goes weak, and then it goes strong. I mean, that is what normal and healthy is. So again, obviously we had very, very strong dollar for a day. We needed some weakness. Now they're talking about, again, the Democrats and Republicans and their talk over fiscal support. They're going to drag this out as much as they possibly can. This is just politics. They don't actually care, in my opinion. This is just, they're just dragging out so they can get the best stance for the election. We did this and we did this and yay. And, they don't necessarily matter. It doesn't matter to them at the end of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if it takes another month for them to come out with something on this one as well. And again, it's just going to hurt the overall market further. All right. So that's a scanner. Let's go over and bounce into the charts. Let me move the scanner out of the way. Let's move this over here and this here. I agree. They have convinced me that they don't care. Yeah, no, they don't care. Politicians don't care. Yeah, it's so backwards. It's so backwards. And it's interesting. I didn't really know much about Kamala Harris. And it's funny to hear all the things that are coming out about her now, about her stance on crime and, guns and this and that. And it's kind of like, it's funny. She actually, and again, maybe some of you guys may not catch this or not, but reminds me very much of, you guys remember when McCain ran? Like, he was like a Republican, but not a Republican, right? He was like the anti-Republican, right? He was like so middle of the road and kind of against the pack, and he was like a rogue, right? I feel like she's very similar to that. Like, she's kind of like a rogue Democrat. Doesn't quite believe in their hardline stuff, which also contradicts exactly what Biden does. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I have some popcorn. I'm ready to go. Like, let me just see how this is all going to play out, right? Just give me the markets. I'm going to hit the short button. That's it. The day before the elections, I'm going to hit short. So the Aussie, this is a level we talked about yesterday. So one of the things about this, again, I've mentioned it many times, and this is one of those learning examples. Remember, we're always looking for areas to hold. But when we get to that third and fourth touch, you really got to start worrying about, are there levels left? And in this case, this is a great example. Now, I moved some of these and I put them up here, but you can see that here was one touch of this retracement level. Here was number 2, and here was number 3. So, and again, number 3 gave us a pullback all the way to the level. So what's the rule? Typically when number 4 hits, that's where it gets broken. Now, it kind of phased through it and pushed down and pushed back up, but for the most part, we should not be taking levels that many times in a row. we're really kind of in the same area. We really haven't moved enough away from it. And you guys can see, last night there was a little bit of a pop over in here. So, this is kind of that spike, and, it grabbed that small level. So there were some small overnight trades in this one. And again, from this little 30-minute, drop level, which again, not a bad level, you had about, it's only about 30 pips. So it wasn't really anything huge. In 24 hours, this one has moved up about 34 pips, and a lot of that has been eaten up by, again, this 30 pip drop here. So even at 60, we're still below the ATR on this one. Okay, so things that I'm looking at, again, there's a lot over here because of the lower time frames, but still very, very high in the curve on the daily, right? 4 hours, obviously high as well. Hourly, we're kind of stuck in the middle of the range, right? Let me see. I'll take this off. There you go. It's always like a question. It's like, when I hit delete, how much am I going to lose, right? So, where price is right now, again, I would not be taking this short again. This would be the fourth time. It's actually already gone through 4 times. So, at this point, I would probably let it go. There's another zone a bit higher that we can actually use, this range up here. And again, it's been respected. So I'd kind of shift our thinking. Right now, I would say, for me, I feel like I need to be a little bit more bearish this position. It punched deep into this zone. I mean, it went about that far, about 95% of the way. So I don't know how much of it'll hold, but then we got this bit of a retest that got forced down again. So we do have descending wicks on this one. We are kind of testing low. We had a basing level here, and we punched it again. So I do feel like it's looking to kind of overtake this area today, and I'm going to be looking for probably, again, before I leave, I'm going to be looking for probably setting a trade with some type of a break below this level and see if we can get a push lower. I want to see what the unemployment claims number does in about 12 minutes. And from there, I will kind of base the, I'll use that to determine whether or not I'm going to continue to take this short. But I think short down to the 71.15 level was probably not a bad trade today. Again, I don't know that this zone will hold too much more. But again, 72.09 is a level that if we do pop for some reason, the 72.09 or even this upper level here, what is it, 72.32? I think either of those two levels, if we can get a bounce into that level and kind of a failure to go higher, I think would be a great confirmation signal short. I think either of those two work. Like I said, I think the Aussie has just been hyped up so much. And again, Lois speaking tonight at 7:30, which may also give us a bit more of a catalyst to the downside. Now, looking at Aussie yen. Aussie yen was able to kind of rally up. Now, this one ended up getting really, really close in front run, and it hit the level that we had talked about, the 76.36, and actually pulled back, and it was about a 2-to-1 to the downside before it kind of got, obviously launched forward, right? And again, that one went right here, about 10 o'clock. Okay. Now, this one was a little bit late. It ended up punching through again, that good data that we saw, with the markets and everything. So, it's in the area. It hasn't really left. Again, we were playing with very, very tiny levels that were hit. You may have gotten something out of it, but this is what we're looking at on a 4-hour level. Okay. We are still sitting up in this level. Again, it kind of is the same picture for me. We're high on the curve. We're sitting in a level. It's actually, you guys can see there's a high here, and a high here. So it does have lower highs in here. I would have to say that I'm also bearish the Aussie yen. Just based off of where it is, again, being this high up on the curve, and again, market, the yen gets any type of strength placed into it. Again, that will give us that kind of push and rollover that we need to the downside. And again, profit targets need to be out before, really not even that low. They need to be out probably in this level right in here, which would be sitting at, about 75.83. And the reason why is that, again, we saw a nice little bounce off that level. We could probably make it maybe just a little bit higher, but we always want to make sure we use kind of the explosion point. And that's been the tested point. That would be about a 70 pip mover to the downside. So again, not necessarily a bad level to take short there. But I also don't expect a blockbuster day today, unless there's something that is just completely out of, a surprise out of the, completely out of left field. I don't think we'll have as much movement today. I think today may be a little bit slower, but I think tomorrow with that retail sales data, I think that'll give us the biggest bang for our buck. That's kind of how I'm looking for it. Like I said, I told those guys, I was like, yeah, I can play today, but tomorrow. It wasn't really about chart school, guys. It was about trade. No, I'm just kidding. It was about chart school. But I'll have more opportunity tomorrow morning to trade it as well versus today. There's just not as much today. So this will probably be a lazy roller for me. Nothing more than that. So Euro yen. All right, so Euro yen, we finally got to the area that we talked about. So yesterday, let's see, we were sitting right here yesterday. And what we said is we're getting close to that level. We need to push up just a little bit more, right? Just a bit more. And we got it. We basically flatlined, right? We went flat, and then finally in the European session, we were able to push higher. So we are inside of that 4-hour zone. Actually, this is probably a daily, right? Yeah, this is a daily zone. Now, 3 days of straight up, right? 3 days of straight up. Again, a lot of that is, there's there's European strength days in there, and there has been some yen weakness. But again, we have the Aussie yen very, very high. And again, for this, the roll and flip, this would be probably a yen position getting some yen strength. So the yen being here in daily supply, or 4-hour daily supply, this being in daily 4-hour supply as well, it's leading me to believe that this could be a day where the yen is coming back in. Now, let me bring this up as well. When we talk about multiple pairs in zones like this right now, the yen is also the one that we need to be the most cautious with. Because remember, the yen is considered a counter currency. Okay? The yen is not a driving force in much. Okay? It is a proxy for the US, for the US indices. The yen and Japan's stance about always being the weakness for being an export country, it's a little bit different. Like if this was a euro set up here, euro set up here, euro pound set up across 5 pairs, the euro is a driving pair. Okay, this is a counter. We're playing this one off of a counter pair. All right, so it does match up that it will roll and flip based off of where the yen is, but again, it is not a strong of correlation over multiple pairs as this would be if it was a leading pair. So that's where you need to be a bit careful. But again, it's kind of the same thing, looking for a potential rollover on this one. Again, go down to a 30-minute and look for some type of a confirmation to go any higher. We don't have it yet. We do have a kind of a candle for it, although it's not the best. All right, it's not the best candle, but we're still looking for a rollover. And I think any targets on this one, again, depending on where your risk level is in, definitely look to get some profit at 26.04. And remember, we're using this for the confirmation entry, not just the entry up in here. Okay, if you're already short and you're looking for this on a larger time frame, then yeah, your profit target's much lower. But if we can get a smaller kind of level, something, and again, I'm just drawing this now for visual purposes. At that level right there, if that's where we're going to take as our risk level, if we get some white space, it's a possible level, right? It could be. If we get a little bit of space under here and pop up, yeah, that's a possible level, and your 1 to 3 is in a fine location. All right, now euro. Or pound yen. So pound yen is kind of pushed a bit higher. Now pound yen's a little bit harder because again, we had that level, we bounced off of it multiple times. We kind of bounced around and went through the top, but this is kind of what we're looking for on a daily, right? There's not a lot over here on the left to be able to say, hey, we're in a good spot. All right. Now on the 4-hour, right, we can, let's roll this back and we'll kind of see what do we here. Even on the 4-hour, you can see there's really not much pullback whatsoever. Okay. There's the area here, right? From here to kind of there. That's it. That's all we got in this. All right. Again, this was a very, very fast drop. All right. This is that, February, March kind of COVID, right? So, we just can't get out from under COVID. COVID's here all over the place, right? So that's about how much movement we have to run. It's about 136 pips. The daily ATR on this one is 108. It's collapsing, as we talked about yesterday. So, it's got about a day's worth of movement pop on that one. This is interesting because we haven't really seen the stereotypical type move. So this is the one that is not giving us that kind of same kind of lineup there. So I'd like to say I'm long this one, but in reality, today at 73 or 79 pips in 24 hours, it's kind of the best day that we've had this week as far as true movement in 24 hours. But none of it's really explosive. I mean, there's these big pops over here, but we really, again, there were some shorts here, but there's not really a whole lot over here. So, in fact, I mean, pullback wise, whoops, not that. I wanted this. Pullback wise, there's our first level that the indicator is pulling off. And yeah, I mean, it was tested, right? Buyers have stepped in when it came down, buyers stepped in. When it came in, buyers stepped in again. So 38.83 is a pullback level. But again, look how far away we are. It's kind of sitting in between those two zones. So really today, I don't really have much on the pound yen. There's nothing in the pound yen that says, hey, this is a good one. I like this. Go. It's just not there. I just don't feel it. I like the Aussie yen. I like the euro yen. The pound yen is just not there for me yet. And again, is it grinding higher? Sure. I mean, yeah, it's grinding higher. It's got its impulse correction. So I'm expecting a pullback, right? I'm expecting a pullback, but Question is, would I be willing to take a pullback entry to go long and using that as a target? Question is maybe if I could get a decent level that we could, kind of bounce, pop off of, maybe. But it's just not there yet. So, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the candles are going to look like over the next, 4 or 5 hours. But that's where we'd be looking for some type of a basing, a push up, and then a bounce back to that to punch forward. Because if we do have something like in here, like say this is going to be the basing level, right? And we push higher, say it's that big, right? I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm just drawing this for education purposes. I mean, it could be even be that big. If we have that base here and we punch up, if we do something like this, right? Say we have it into that type of a level, there is enough room to run up to that zone for your profit target. You can still get your 1 to 3 in. And right now, with what we've seen in the pound, that's highly possible. I mean, I'll leave that there just to see tomorrow, for giggles to see if it get there. But again, I'm just drawing a random zone to, say, hey, listen, if we can get a basing level, a pop up, and a pullback, there is a continuation pattern in here somewhere to take that up. But again, make sure you're out before that big level. Now, pound dollar. Pounders had some more issues. So we drew this small level here, and today, listen, this is the only thing we got in here. And it got pretty close here. It hit, and then it pulled all the way back down again and hit again. So you can see this one was definitely trying to punch that level. It tried its best, right? It got front run. It pushed in. It pushed down again. It pushed up again. So it was trying its best to get through that level. And it did eventually, right? I mean, no level will last forever besides zero. And then I guess in oil, we found out that even zero won't hold forever. So right now, the only thing that we have here as far as clean levels go is we have a bit of a level here. It's drawn off of a zone that I actually don't necessarily like. It is not the best level, right? Let's take that, clear that out of here. We'll drop that down to 15. Let's refresh. Let's see. Actually, let me do it here real quick. I want to make sure that we're talking about the right level. There to here. Oh, you know what? I don't have to do it this way. I always forget that I have this option. There. Man, that's actually been a level that's been hit a few times. So probably stick this here. I mean, it's really kind of there, but it's about 11. We're fine right there. All right, we'll do it right there. So that's kind of what I'd be looking for right now as far as entries go. As you can see, it's chopping forward, and it's kind of the same thing. I mean, if this pushes back up, it's a better area. I would have liked it this just based here and then went one higher. I don't know. I also don't love this one. I mean, there is definitely some buyers sitting in here. So if you look at the candles right here, there are buyers sitting in that level. 1 to 3 wise, it does kind of match up. Again, fortunately right now, let's see. What do we got unemployment wise? Come on. Come on, guys. It's 8:30. Give us the number. Oh, so that is better than expected by a decent amount, right? I mean, they're expecting this. This is what they had previously, and we didn't even break a mill. So, again, that's kind of one of those good signs right there, right? So that is a positive thing for the overall economy. So let's see how the media is going to spin that one today. But that should actually give the markets a push today. So yeah, so we'll see. I mean, it looks like that's where it's trying to enter. And again, we may have a nice little pop off of that. Let me see on a 5 minute. Is it already reacting? Yeah, it's already starting to pop around a little bit. Yeah, it's already starting to pop. So again, yeah, that could be a potential trade a little bit higher. This may be a level that we can use. As you can see, it actually just painted the level on there, even though we drew it before. That may actually be an interesting one. I'm going to see if this comes back down again. Give us a little bit of, again, everybody sees that and they're like, oh my God, that's great for the dollar. And they start trying to like short the pound dollar and then it goes up, right? So we're looking for this to come just a bit lower and then launch, I think is what we could have for this one. So again, not bad. That's a good number. All right, so this is what we drew yesterday. And we said, hey, listen, we want to see a break below. We want to see this come over. We want to see it go back down to 90. It kind of went up. And again, it tagged a level here. I mean, we're sitting here right now. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right here. So what did it do? It went up and it grabbed that level and came down. It went up and grabbed the level and kind of pushed down, but never really broke that sideways kind of movement. We're finally starting to see that. And again, this could be that pound strength that we're talking about for the last kind of week or whatever. Welcome, Hugo. Yeah, I would say it's the same kind of setup for me. Again, this would be pound strength, which we've talked about has been good. Look, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. It's on my other screen. Floods your money market, distorts indicators. Another reason why not to use indicators. I love that. ECB liquidity fools or floods euro market, money market, and distorts indicators. Yeah, who says money can't mess things up? It was just funny. It was on my other screen, and I caught out the screen on the side of my eye. So, yeah. So again, I would say this kind of goes on what we talked about. You know, we saw it here and said, hey, listen, we'd like to see this push forward a little bit more pound strength, right? You know, in the pound dollar, same thing. And when we're bouncing, kind of gives us some strength, right? That would be the dollar weakness, pound strength here. And again, euro pound. Again, same thing. Pound strength leads us to go in the same direction. So this is a better correlation, guys, than what we're talking about with the yen. Seeing that kind of roll over, but I would say that, hey, listen, I got to be thinking short today on the euro pound, right? With targets down here at 90. Now, euro dollar. So euro dollar is going to take some bounces. So here is that level that we talked about. And again, here's your one touch. We mentioned this yesterday that here's 1, 2, here's where the 2 or 3 hits. And you can see there's 1, there's 2. And again, there's 1 here, 1 here. If you count this as just 1 pullback and a touch as 1, 2, and 3, number 4 was the breaker. Okay. And then what did we talk about when we got the Harry Potter continuation trade to the top side? We were looking for a punch through, a pullback, and a push forward. And again, that's what you guys can see right here. That is what we got, right, to the top side. So again, same continuation pattern that we mentioned yesterday to the top side. Now it's retracing. I mean, it is bouncing off levels here. We were expecting it to run into some things. So again, not surprised that it has turned red in the last few hours. Again, European Open, it makes complete sense why it would do that. Here you go. You see the bounces over here. And from the top of this green box, you can see exactly where it turned was the exact place that we went to before. So again, that's why we need to make sure that our profit targets are at least the 1 to 3 and no more. All right. So we're going to remove this now, right? Actually, let me here. I'll clean this up. Let's bring this across so we can hold that level again. Now this level may be set for another short. Put that there. Let's remove. It's kind of the same idea. It's kind of, it's kind of this is what I'm looking for. I want to see the next bounce, right, to the downside. We'll leave that there. I'll leave that there as well. Just advance that across. I don't need that now because we have that. All right, so we'll leave it here. So same continuation pattern moves through. Again, there's a potential for this to flip back to the downside. We'll put it over here because this is what we originally dealt with it on. Right now, I would say, again, I would expect there to be some dollar strength coming into this one. Just wait for it to pull back. I mean, this is not a great top. If this does flip and roll higher for dollar weakness right now, this is a mirror top. So I don't expect this to hold, but I would be looking for shorts up at 118.72. That's the last time that we've really had big price movement come off of that level. It also coincides with a 4-hour level right above, and it's a junky 4-hour level because of this candle right here. The indicator drew it because of both sides, and it's been tested, but I would say it's a junky level. If you were going to take this, I would keep my risk rather defined inside of really kind of inside of this level right here. I think that would be this would be fine as far as taking a short if price is able to rally that high, and that kicks in right here around 118.77. All right, so a little bit of an adjustment would be the best. So for me right now, again, if it breaks below this level, again, yeah, looking for a pullback, retest, and push down, I'm okay with that. If it doesn't, again, we got that dollar kind of. I expect there to be some dollar weakness in it right now because the news just came out. A push up to 118.77. Again, taking this one short. If you're looking for that top level, the risk of reward wise, you guys can see that again, it puts us in a good level before this area of interest in the yellow. All right. Again, if you are short from high, make sure you're out before the yellow area. If price is able to come down base and go through and pull back, then this area level, this area of interest yellow becomes your risk level to the downside. All right. So either one of these two, really for me right now, are I'm looking to get short this position. Again, based off of, oops, not that one. I want it off of this side right here. All right, so 118.77. The other one would be a break of, really this level down here of 117.94. All right. Dollar CAD. Now, dollar CAD is just continuing to grind lower. We're sitting here right now, and yesterday we were sitting right in here. And again, we expected some type of movement. This one based off of oil. The oil inventory helped a little bit, but I would say, if anything, this was definitely more of just a dollar weakness day. And we saw it across the board. So it continued to push lower. It came back down. This is one of those ones that we said, hey, listen, we could see it coming down to this level. We are sitting right now inside of a 4-hour zone. So I do expect this one to kind of probably have a bit of a retracement issue at this point. Again, it's pushed in, but we still got, at least on the 4-hour, we're kind of at the bottom of it, right? Inside of a daily zone. Again, here's your daily zone that it's running into. This was a great takeoff point. It's not the lowest, right? It could go a bit lower on this one, but I think 4 hours fine. Hourly is fine. Again, the overall kind of trend in the overnight has been down, right? So this one is also set up for a reversal pattern today. Because again, we've had this kind of from yesterday into the overnight session, in the European session. And again, you guys can see there was a very small, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There's your base. There's your continuation pattern to the downside. There's your retest. You guys see it? The dots here? It's actually on the 4-hour. It's hard to see here, but there's the level. There's the level. So it's about to hit its end. I did not catch this one. This was a bit late for me. This was it was last night, 8, 9 o'clock. Yeah, I missed that one. Kicking myself now. That would have been a good overnight trade. I totally missed this one, guys. I was asleep at the wheel for that one, but that was a good one. Yeah. So right now, again, morning, I would see this one going down a little bit. I would not be surprised if we have a reversal this morning. Again, with that good dollar news, may show that the economy is not as bad as we thought it was. So again, there'll be less reason to really kind of print as much money as we needed, which again will help with the dollar and also affect gold. So yeah, that one's good. Wait for a failure to go lower. Reversal, drop it down to a 30-minute. We obviously don't have it right now, but you are seeing that it is obviously basing off it's having problems going lower. That news obviously didn't help it, but we'll see for a turn and a flip back to the top side. All right, dollar yen. So, dollar yen. Man, we were so close yesterday. All right, we were so close yesterday. So, let's see. Here's where we are now. Here's where we were sitting yesterday about this time. More or less in the same area. We only have a 10 pip difference. We were talking about this one going up to 107.17 and then taking it short. It kind of pulled away. It rallied back up and really no movement 24 hours. So, I think total wise, let's see, we got about 30 pips back to the downside. This was not something that you would really want to be in or trade. I would still wait. Again, this is another lesson in patience. Let's wait for it to go up. I think 107.17 is a much better short right now. It's just not there. But I think this one will do okay today. I think we will have the ability to get entered in this one. So, I'm going to probably try. I mean, I still have my alerts set. It depends on what time we hit. But, this is, there may be potential in this one today, guys. If not retail sales, this will definitely be a mover for retail sales. Unless, obviously, if retail sales comes in exactly as predicted, no. But if we can get up into that level, I think that's, I'm going to hold that one from before. So, dollar Swiss. So, dollar Swiss, here's where we are right now, almost at 9 o'clock. And, this position, we were sitting right here yesterday. So, it went up, what? It went up 10, dropped 20, and we're in the exact same spot. So, really no movement. There's just not enough in this one right now. There's no meat. I think it will come down. From my opinion on this one is, it definitely was turned away. There's a bit of a zone over here. Again, it's funny. We're in the same spot. I still think we need to be prudent and hold this one. Again, hold our entries on this one. Obviously, 90.67 is my preferred entry. It's a little bit lower, and that's been tested. But again, this is a bit more aggressive of an entry coming in at 90.70 or 90.80. So either one of those two, are probable entries, but right now, we're just holding firm here, and it's just retracing. So, no geopolitical news. Maybe we'll hear something today. That Russia statement came in. That Russia statement came in about 3 hours ago, right? So there is potential. I mean, it came in at 458 this morning. If there's a response back, that would probably give us some. That would probably give us some Swiss strength. Here we go. All right, Trump is already starting to. Here you go. There is Trump's response. So his response being the dollar will be even stronger if I'm elected. Yeah, that means the Democrats are going to be like, no, we need a weak dollar for exports because they have to play the opposite side. They can't agree with him and say that, yeah, strong dollar is good. No, they're going to talk about weak dollar will help us exports and help our economy because Trump doesn't know anything. So, yeah, that's probably where this is going to go later on today. But, and the reason he's saying this is because, again, all the weakness. Oh, Russia's not using it. The dollar's going to get weak. People aren't going to use it. That was his response. We'll see if he takes a more pointed jab at Russia. If he does, again, look for the Swiss to gain some more strength and push up. Again, just when leaders poke holes at each other, obviously that's where this thing gets strength from. So, there's a few levels up top. I really think waiting for these things to come down, I think is probably the best bet right now. Now NQ got some. I would say it did okay, right? I mean, it popped. We were looking for this thing to continue up or down, right? We're sitting right here right now, and you can see yesterday we were sitting right here, right here. So, getting a pop right now. Again, unemployment claims are not as bad as expected, so the market needs to react. Now, the question is, will this drive us up enough into these levels? Right? Question is, can we get up into this 11,233-ish range? And I say ish, remember guys, for those of you that are new that are on, remember I'm using ECN-based data, so I just don't have to jump platforms, so everything's on one. So the data here, the numbers are slightly off. The patterns are the exact same, but the numbers are slightly off. So this would bode well into a push up, right? A push up based off of retail traders reacting to news today. And then if the media takes a spin on this, that, Russia is abandoning us and all these other things, again, there's definitely time to turn the market negative. This actually could turn into some type of reversal today. Now, these are, these are 30-minute levels. These are not the strongest levels in the world. But again, it's back up at that all-time high area. It should push higher. I mean, like I said, having unemployment come in at that big of a miss, it should push higher. But you know how this market likes to move, right? This is a very, very big pop based off of some unemployment claims. We tend to get reversals off those things. So again, those reversals would be coming in approximately up here, right? You guys can draw this. I probably wouldn't use the bottom. I'd probably use. I'd probably use, if anything, there. I think there's probably the better. So right around that level. Yeah, that's probably a better level to do it because that's the first retest of it. Yeah, so 11,262-ish is probably a better area. And like I said, we will see, there will be a positive pop this morning. And again, it's about taking that reversal pattern off. We never got the reentry down here. It never pulled all the way back down for that zone, unfortunately. But, we'll keep that on the radar for potential areas later, as well as making sure that, when the market rolls, we get profit before that level. So I'm going to leave that yellow level on. Like I said, this one today, 11,262, looking for, a short. Again, this depends on what time. If it hits this level at 1 o'clock, I'm not going to be interested. If it hits it at 10:30, I'm interested. Right. All right. S&P. So S&P also did not give us kind of the break that we were looking for. We're sitting here right now. Yesterday, we were sitting right here, right? We're basically in the same exact spot. So we had a little down, a little up, a little bit down again. At least on the hourly, it's kind of set up in the same way. We're still kind of stuck inside of that larger time frame zone right now, inside of that 4-hour zone. So I wouldn't quite say that this got any major clearance. And it's kind of set up the same way, right? I mean, we know that we have zones above. We have a 4-hour zone that kicks in. And again, it's a little bit harder for you guys to see here with this. There's a 4-hour zone that kicks in here, right? So there's where the 4-hour zone is kicking in, and we have one retest of it. So it's kind of set up the same way. If this pushes higher, 33.86 is an area where I'd be starting to look and say, hey, listen, we've pushed up. Have we gotten a failure retest higher? And that would be an area where I'd be willing to short. Now, it doesn't look like it has as much movement right now. There's not as much oomph. And like I said, with not as much news today, it's not going to be a big a deal. I think retail sales has much more of a possibility right now to disappoint. Unemployment claims, like I said, is now back down to into a medium color because people kind of are like, hey, whatever, right? But retail sales is considered high impact. So tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m., that will be a better one. But there's a small short for me, probably again, if I'm able to see the chart or not. It depends if I'm playing. So look at this guy. So this is the definition of a flat sideways market. So here's where we are now. Here's where we were yesterday at the same time. Right here. So yeah. It's still wedged in. Again, same picture as far as an indice goes. If it goes a bit higher, it's hitting a zone that we had, marked off and we like. For me on this one, it's 28,074. I'd be willing to take kind of shorts off of that one, and then 27,683 on the bottom if we're able to get down to there. Or there needs to be a target for your shorts, or as a potential bounce long. Again, that's what happened is buyers keep stepping in and saving it when it gets back down here. So really no change of assessment. It hasn't really moved. It did a little up, a little bit down, and basically just flatlined on us and went sideways. As I mentioned yesterday too, I do feel that the Dow is the most exposed if the market turns around, particularly with retail sales. Again, if people are not buying, the industrial sector needs to kind of slow down, right? They need to slow down. So that will affect the Dow on this side. Like I said, NQ is not as affected by kind of slowdowns. Again, they are a technology-based, company with everybody going virtual. I think they're good over there, but I do think that the industrials will have some issues if, again, this thing starts to turn negative. All right. So look at gold. So gold, look at this. So gold from the level, here's where we are right now. We were sitting, let's see, 8. We were sitting right here yesterday. Right here. And we mentioned that, hey, listen, there's a potential gold short in here. It's been tested. If you haven't gotten in and it comes back up, get into the position again. And it did. It came back up. It came all the way down, hit our 1 to 3, and then came back up and has formed a new level. So there was your gold short from yesterday. I would say that gold really didn't gain any ground. Again, unemployment claims being good means less need for massive stimulus, which is also not good for gold. So, would I be short this one again? Probably not. I'm definitely bearish this one, but again, it's already hit 1, really 2, and almost 3 times. So, if it comes in here and does give us a little sideways movement and we get a confirmation entry to the downside, there's probably another short in here. I don't feel as confident with it today as I did yesterday. Yesterday, I was much more on board with it. Again, it showed us that, again, there was 2 retests and we got the entry that we needed. And it based, and it was a better, it's a better sign that the level is more ready to fail because it did spend more time up here, but it did have a nice reaction off again and they got front run. So, I would say that short, that area is still an area where we could look for shorts. I would say I'm still probably bearish today. I don't think we'll get much movement on this. Again, like magically, if, the Democrats and Republicans say, hey, that's it, stimulus right now, bam, we're done. We're in agreement. I don't see that coming today. I don't think there's any reason for it to come today. So I wouldn't assume that today would be a blockbuster day for gold unless there's some, again, out of left field, we get some type of crazy, news on this one. But I just don't see it. Those areas indicated are market movers areas. Yeah. They are what I call supply and demand. So yeah, I mean, I obviously don't have any inside information. I can't look in, but yes, these are areas that market makers and large institutions, these levels will form because of their reactions. So that's why they are marked off. Yes. The lighter color ones, let me explain why is there different color ones here. There's no ranking system. When I hand draw them, I use different colors so I know that they are hand drawn zones versus the indicator. So the dark green and the dark red, or this dark tomato color, I guess is what they call it. That's an indicator that I have that I produce for my students. It takes a couple additional readings, and it filters out a lot of the kind of lesser quality things, but it doesn't mean there's extra ones. Like this was an extra zone that the indicator isn't designed to pick out, but it's one of those ones that, again, obviously we hand drew it yesterday, and you guys can see the result of it. So yeah, these are areas where we see buyers and sellers stepping in, and there's imbalances in the market. And a lot of the imbalances that occur in the market, it's not you and me trading, it's large banks and large money, large institutions, algorithms, hedge funds, things like that. And again, in currencies, you're talking about central banks and things, big market movers, people that have the money that can manipulate the market. It's about reading the candlesticks and the price charts, and that's why the levels are drawn where they're drawn. Okay. Hopefully that explains it. So again, bearish this one today, and silver, silver has pulled back up, and again did the same thing. One hit. We're sitting here right now. Yesterday we were sitting right here. right? And silver gave us an entry, hit the profit target. And again, it's hit one, it's hit two, and hit again. I mean, like I said, I warned you guys that this one is not going to last forever. Silver is not as big. It did go up and pull right into the wick over wick. So again, you could have refined it off that level if you wanted, but kind of the same thing, same feeling. I just don't see how this one today is going to be really. I don't think we're rallying back up to 28 today. There's just nothing out there unless something is coming out of the woodwork. But this one has already been good for 2 trade setups. Number 3 is always going to be risky, as you guys know, and we're kind of flirting with that area right now. Bearish sentiment on this one, no entry. I wouldn't. Again, I'm not as excited about taking silver. We've already had our 2 profit targets hit on this one. Again, how many times do you want to do the same thing, right? The strategy is not designed to work that way, okay? Yeah, so bearish, and that's it. So let me pull oil real quick, and then I have to bolt. We're probably going to finish up a little bit early today. Let's do trading view. Crude oil. All right, let's see. Full feature chart. Let's see what crude did. Now, remember, crude was low again, and here's what we got going with crude. So this is on the 5-minute. All right, so that's what we kind of had drawn yesterday, right? So this is 30 minutes. So here's where we are right now. And when we go back, we will pull the next 12:30, and the next 12:30 is right here. Okay, so we're sitting right here on this green candle. And we came up and we pushed down. And we came up, and you guys can see what the end result was. So again, this was one of those Nadex-based levels. We said that it wasn't the best. Again, it did poke out the top, but again, punched all the way down to its 1 to 3 target. It really hasn't left that area. Again, as you guys can see after this, what happened to that level after? You guys can see it really spent a lot of time. It went higher. It came back up exactly to this same level of sellers, but again, crappy candles, so we weren't drawing any shorts from there. But it pulled back and it sucked into the same zone. So question is this level now between 42.61 and 42.48, is that going to be the new 41.05 to 41.25? Right now in the last 24 hours, it appears that it has. Now, how does today's number affect that, right? Well, if not as many people are putting in for unemployment claims, right? That means that more people are working. That means that maybe they were a little bit off on demand, which I would say would be more bullish for oil, right? More people are working still. Now, there is one kind of caveat that, again, this is more food for thought than anything else. Here's the thing, okay? I don't know if anybody in the channel has recently put in for unemployment, but the unemployment benefits that they give people are not necessarily the best. Okay. When people were getting the $600, they were a lot more motivated to make sure that they put unemployment claims in. Right now, if you're not getting much for unemployment, people are not necessarily as motivated to put it in because they don't think they're getting anything back for it, right? Because it's low. You're getting, there's actually a website in Maryland. And some of the thing, it's basically like, get real answers because, Maryland's unemployment system got so overwhelmed, it broke. It was like a new system. They created these Facebook pages for it, all right? People are like, yeah, I'm supposed to get $97 a week. What am I supposed to do with $97 a week? As an example. If you're putting back in and going through the process and applying and doing all these things, is it worth $97 a week? Maybe, maybe not. So I don't feel that Again, I'm happy that we had the 963 unemployment claims number today, but I don't also feel that that's a real representation. But that number will also help stimulate oil because, again, what is it showing? It's showing that there is more people working than what the overall market had assumed. And again, the market, has factored that stuff in, everything that I'm talking about. But the question is, how much higher can this go? Okay. So obviously we know that there's sellers of stepping in this range, right? Let me just move this box over. One of these days I'll get better at moving these actual boxes on TradingView. So we know that there's sellers stepping in this range somewhere. Now, it's not a great level, right? It's not the best of levels. It's been hit a few times. If anything, I would say that the origin of that move really kind of came in here, right? There's where you had the drop, the kind of stabilization, and then the drop down. And you can see we ended up tagging it here, tagging it here, tagging it here. So it's been tagged a few times, and that's definitely an area that we need to watch out for. And that's coming in right around 42.81. What makes this one hard to use that level to short from is the fact that we've had buyers step in really right down at this level. Again, this was a selling, and then became buying. So we're kind of pinched in. It's the same kind of consolidation that we were talking about back over in this level, but now it's even closer. I mean, we're talking about a 20-cent consolidation versus the consolidation that we had kind of over here where we were able to use this same level and, go shorts and longs and consolidation and then bounce lower and then bounce higher off that same level. this one is really compacted in. So what I would say is if we can chop around a little bit more in this one and then push up, I do, just like we talked about this being, kind of another entry here. I would say, let's pull that one off just to clean it up. I would say if we move like this across, there may be a short position here later on today. Okay. And the reason why is, again, sellers stepped in, they stepped in quicker, they stepped in even quicker. All right. So if we can get an initial rally based off of the U.S. market open, this could give us a potential turnaround today. And again, it may actually happen a little bit later in the day. But I do think there is some potential in some type of near-term short. This is not something that I would be holding for long-term, guys. I would keep this one on a very tight leash, right? I would keep this on a very tight leash. You start getting up 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5. Again, make sure that you're locking profits in on this one. Don't take a loss on something that you've already moved 1 to 1.5 to 1, right? To the downside. But again, is there much price action in this one right now? Not really. I mean, look at this. All in the overnight. The news yesterday, great. But just nothing that I'm in love with, right? This is pretty ugly right now. This is just sideways movement. Not sure what it's able to do. Okay. Now tomorrow, retail sales. So for retail sales, again, will have the potential to move this a little bit. And the reason why is because, again, retail sales is a good economic indicator to say, hey, listen, how does the consumer feel? Is the consumer buying things? Is the consumer not buying things? And that consumer confidence number kind of spills into everything. Company profits, demand, oil. I mean, again, if you guys look at the oil numbers, the last, what is it? Let me see here. Oops, not that one. Crude oil numbers here. Looking at this, look at this. Miss, 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 all to the downside. Right? So even with miss, 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 and miss, is this thing going to the moon? Let me bring this back up to an hourly. Has this thing really launched itself week after week? No. We're still basically in the same level we were from back in July 20th. Right? And again, that brings us back into here. July 22nd right here. Right? So that was a huge surplus, right? It's like, oh my God, we have so much extra oil. And then we had 2 enormous misses to the downside, right? Well, here's the 22nd, right? Again, enormous miss. Should have went higher. It went lower. And then we had those other things. We had a little bit of a pop, but we're still in the exact same area. So one of those things, I just feel like oil is really handicapped right now. So if anything, again, small intraday trade on this one. Don't go in the overnight. Again, you're just getting choppiness. And, the unemployment number today, I don't think this is going to be as big a mover. I think tomorrow's retail sales number with that consumer kind of confidence factor into it. Are people spending money? Are they not spending money? Are we transporting goods and services? I think that's our next opportunity for some type of an oil play. But right now, again, not forecasting, don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you that sellers have stepped in here. They stepped in even faster here, and they stepped in even faster there. So again, there's a potential trade setup. The 1 to 3, unfortunately, needs to be right to here, which again, I think is valid. That's the last time we had a really big pop. It just, unfortunately, it's on the other side of that position. Okay. So yeah, James, oil is not my favorite. Absolutely not. NVIDIA analysis. Sure. I can do NVIDIA real quick. And then I got to get out of here because I have, basically less than an hour before I got to leave. All right. So NVIDIA, let me pull that up. My featured chart. All right. Pull NVIDIA across. Only because it's you, Wealth Builder. Only because it's you. And the last thing you got into, what was it? Starbucks? That one didn't do as well. All right. So bring this back to an hourly. All right. So everybody loves NVIDIA. All right. So let's pull this back to a daily and get a good kind of overall picture. So obviously, NVIDIA has been on a trend. Okay. Really since March, right? Now, why? Well, it makes sense. Technology company, everything is going much more technical. So again, continuing to push forward. Let's see. Let me go one higher. All right, so we've never been up here before. So this is new ground for NVIDIA. All right, so on an hourly level, this is how I would look at this one. All right, and look, we're already gapped up even here. So right now, being able to find a place to short this one is going to be extremely difficult, right? The reason why is because, again, NVIDIA has never been in this ground before at 461. This is all-time highs for them. So remember, trying to pull the tops on an all-time high is not necessarily the safest thing. Now, you can look for pullbacks and things like that. You can look for failure to go higher, but a lot of that has to be taken into consideration based off of what we see. So right now, I would have to say, based off all the fundamental factors and my opinions, I would be more long this one than anything else. Just because, again, the economy is at crap right now. Like, NVIDIA is a technology-based company. They make graphics card. More people are on computers than ever, right? People are telecommuting, so there's much more of a need for these things. NVIDIA does chips as well. So I'd have to say it's very hard on a fundamental-based level to say, hey, listen, you need to get short this position. Now, on a technical-based level as well, because we're at all-time highs, it's really hard to pull anything from this. Areas where you could potentially kind of add to positions, right? I mean, again, there's a bit of a gap here. So, I mean, you got to look and say, hey, listen, if we got in kind of this area, from yesterday, not a bad level. It had some sellers that had stepped in here and kind of pushed it back down again. But now we've got past those, showing us that, okay, that maybe that was not kind of the end all be all, right, as far as sellers go. So, areas where I'd be looking to go long in ways that you could play this. I mean, absolutely, without a doubt, you play this with options. You do not buy this as a stock, right? You play this with options. I thought this had earning dates on there, but I don't know when their earnings are. But, I think NVIDIA, or really anything technology-wise, is good. Small intraday plays like this. I mean, let me bring this back to an hourly, see if we can get a little bit better of a picture. And there's not even really much down here. I mean, this is literally like, oh, bad day, down. Bad day, good day, just skyrockets and moves. Let's see, 4-hour wise. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just been too sporadic to the top side. Yeah, I mean, it's pulling off a gap here. There's another gap here. That's why I hate the stock market. The gaps are just so obnoxious. Honestly, I mean, that's the best kind of setup right there. There's another one sitting right in here. Let's see. This moves 59 down to here. So it can move 20 in a day. Yeah, so 60 back down to 40. So it has about a $20 range, either way. Let's see, that's at 61, that's at 56. This is probably not a bad buying area. So wealth builder, one way that you could play this one right here is if price is able to come down here. Again, when it comes down here, this is going to be a bit more obviously negative, right? People are going to be more concerned about this one. You could probably pick up like a bull call spread, something pretty cheap to get this to the top side. You wouldn't need much. Again, it's kind of in a higher range up here, but you could probably grab like a bull call spread based off the bottom, kind of the ceiling being down here. Maybe even a little bit out of the money, make it a little bit cheaper. I don't have the the options chain up for me or whatever, but you may be able to find something in this area to be able to move it. Because like I said, I mean, what I would do is look at the ATR, figure out what its kind of 5-day movement looks like, right? Look at its 5-day movement. The reason why I would say that, I'd be looking for something kind of a bounce out of this level is because the publicity that NVIDIA is going to have going in the next, I mean, think about it. Will's kids are starting today. My kids don't actually start till the 8th of September, which I think is ridiculous if we're going virtual. But colleges are going back. Everybody's starting to go back right now. All we need is 1 or 2 college campuses to get COVID, and then bam, they're going full virtual as well. They may even send kids home, right? If they go full virtual, that will be another big perk for NVIDIA, particularly because, again, think graphics cards and chips. So I think that would be good. Get into something cheap, take this a bit higher. All right? All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the drawing right now. That's how I would play it anyway. I wouldn't really, again, everything is going to be so technology-based. Gaming is bigger than it ever has been. Graphics, the demand for graphics is always big. And we're getting into the fall, which, again, is also a big thing for technology. With cyber this, cyber that, back-to-school deals, everything, earnings tend to be pretty good in this time frame, right? Even with everything being crap, more people are staying at home buying computers. They're not using work computers. They're buying new stuff, all right? So let's get into it, guys. We got 8 people in. We got 10 tickets purchased. I will give you guys about 30 seconds more. I know that you may not be able to get in quick enough, but I can see based off of my delay, so hopefully you guys can. It's just I need to get rolling for the day. Need to get out and play me some lacrosse, the medicine game. 10 seconds and we'll call it quits. And again, remember, guys, I will be on tomorrow. I may be injured, but unless like my legs getting, set or shoulders getting set, which these are old people, so hopefully that doesn't happen. I'll definitely be on tomorrow between 8 and 9 a.m. tomorrow, and we can go through things. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it down. Let's see who today's winner is. Look at this. Ernest won yesterday, and he's only buying one. Debbie, you're going to have to get in there and teach Ernest how to do this. Or maybe Ernest has been taking Marina's, maybe he's been taking clues from her, only buying one to go for the win. So let's see. Can Ernest pull it off today? 1, 2, 3. Oh, my God. The wait is... there we go. Where is he? He better be in this channel. Where is he? YOLO, I don't want to hear that you never win. Look at that. We're going to screenshot this one. We're putting it down. Look at it. Hey, you guys are my witness. He says he never wins. I didn't even know he was here today. Look at that. It's finally not rigged. Oh, my God. Look at this. Across the board, guys. So YOLO, my friend. Look at that. See? All right. YOLO for my YOLO. See? All right. Now you can never say that you didn't win again. Everybody in here. Wait, did you just say YOLO's a girl? I feel like you just called YOLO a girl. All right, guys. So with that said, I'm going to go give YOLO his things. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to roll out of here. You guys all have a good trading today. I'd bought more if it was a Friday. Yeah. I know how you roll into Fridays. All right, guys. So I really appreciate it today. All the new followers, I really appreciate you guys. I'll be on tomorrow from 8 to 9 a.m. And Friday, remember, one of the things that we do on Friday, if you guys want me to look at a specific stock, I will allow each person to pick one stock, and I will break down anything in the stock market you guys like. Or if there's a currency pair that is not in kind of the suite of like 10 that are 10 or 12 that I do, let me know and I'll break that down for you guys. I'm trying to make Friday like, student-driven analysis. All right? So you guys take care. I'll catch you tomorrow.